All right, we are in Module 3 on the workshop synthesis, and the point of this project is really to synthesize what we learned in Modules 1 and 2. So we're going to be using our element of art knowledge as well as our introductory Photoshop knowledge, and we're going to be making these 7 digital trading cards. And I call them trading cards just because of the size. They are 3 by 4 inches, and the goal is that you're going to use an element of art as your focus when you're designing. So you'll notice on this first one, I focus on line and really emphasize line, shape and balance, space. Now the principles that you see, that'll come after. I just want you to focus on the 7 elements. So line, shape, form, space, texture, value, color, which are all right down here. Once you have them designed is when you're going to look at them and see if you recognize any of the principles. So that's step 2. But what you'll notice on here is that these were all designed with the same object and a color scheme that unifies them and holds them together. So on Google, you're going to have to find an object that you want to use, and you're also going to have to determine a color palette, which you can just Google color palettes and see if anything strikes you. I'm going to go to the next link in this folder because that's the teacher example. And what you'll see here is you're going to have this is your Module 3 journal, so it's all set up for you. You're just going to plug your pictures in, but you're going to see here that I have my 7 designs. I have outlined which element is the focus for the design, and then once I have them designed and put them in here, that's when I looked at this and said, okay, with the color blocking in the back, if I cut this in half, I have balance because it's the same on both sides. I could also cut it vertically, showing balance, so on and so forth. Like with color, I saw unity and variety. I have unity because I have similar shapes repeated, and variety in the variety of colors. So that's where we're heading. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to Photoshop right now and show you how to get started. So you're going to create a new document. You want it to be in inches, 3 on the width and 4 on the height, and your resolution is 300. Hit create. And I'm going to start by clicking on my image and go ahead and import the photos that I have saved. So I have my Monstera leaf I'm going to put in there. I'm just going to go ahead and place these to get them all in. I'm going to add my color palette that I found that I really like, and the last thing, because I'm going to start with line, I found this cool line background and graphic that I'm going to use. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this line graphic, and I'm going to free transform and fill my background and get rid of that bottom piece. And hit done. Now I'm going to go ahead into my layers and unview that. I'm going to come back to that later. First I'm going to focus on, I'm going to unview my palette too. And first I'm going to focus on my leaves. All right, so on this leaf layer, I'm gonna come over to my selection tools. Oops. And what I want to do, I'm gonna use my magic wand, and I'm gonna select my leaf, and I wanna get rid of this checkerboard background. So I'm going to actually mask it, and I'm going to do that by clicking the little mask icon right here on the right, the little rectangle with the circle cut out, and you'll see that when I open up my layers, now you'll see that the mask is on there. So it has everything that's hidden in black and just the leaf itself in white. If you remember the rhyme, white conceals, black reveals. So now I have this. Now, if I want to change the color of my leaf, I actually have to click and select the picture, not the mask in the layer. And then I'm going to go over to my paint bucket. I need to make my color palette visible again. And I'm going to use the eyedropper to select pink. I'm going to go back to my leaf layer. So I'm going to hide my color palette. Make sure I'm on the picture of the leaf and click. So now I have a pink leaf. I'm going to go ahead and make my leaf a little bigger by free transforming. Zoom out here. Now I want to start playing with my background. So I'm going to turn those leaves on, and I'm actually going to click and drag this underneath the leaf layer. First thing I'm going to do, let's see here. I'm going to hide the top 2 layers on the background. I'm going to go ahead and select yellow. I'm going to fill that background yellow. And then I'm going to go to this line layer, and in the layer properties here, which is these little lines with the circles, I'm gonna find my blend modes. And I'm gonna play around with the blend modes until I find something kind of cool. Ooh, I kind of like lighten because it just gives me the lines in yellow. So I'm gonna leave that one there. Now I'm gonna go back to my leaf layer, make it visible, and I'm gonna play around with the blend mode on there too to just see if I can get a really cool effect where I see the lines through this as well. So I'm just gonna kind of filter through these, see what I like. Ooh, I kind of like hard light. All right, now let me collapse this so I can see what I got now. Now, without doing too much, this to me looks really cool. I have my object, I've used my color scheme, and I can see really well lines both through the leaf and in the background. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this. As a JPEG, high quality. Save my image. And that is my line one. Now I'm gonna move on to shape and texture. And I really, sky's the limit on how I edit them, but the point of this is just kind of playing around, and I just wanted to show you kind of my process of what I was gonna do. In the layer properties, the blend modes are really great, as are the filters. Kind of just play around until you find something you like. And then once you have one, move on to the next. Don't overthink these. These are just supposed to be 7 quick designs that illustrate the elements of art. And then when you are finished, you're gonna go ahead in the topic 1 page, you can open up your copy of your Module 3 art journal, and you can start to plug these elements in, these element cards in. So here you're gonna have to change out what the element is, place your image, and then once you have them placed, you can go through and start to identify your principles and reference back to Module 1 if you need a refresher on the elements and principles. And that's how you get started.